to a kathakar some years ago, and he said, when bhajans are being sung, you must clap, because when you clap your hands, all your bad karma goes away. And those who don't clap their hands, they receive the bad karma from those who are clapping. So Bharat was so attached to the deer that even at the time of death, his mind was fully immersed in that young deer. Abhiniveshita manavrisijya lokam imam saha mrigena kalevaram mritam anuna mrita janma anusmritira itara vanmriga shariram avapa. So this goodness, this compassion was the binding thread, if you want to call it, not an ordinary thread, because it was goodness and kindness. You can call it a golden thread. But whether it is a golden thread or a silver thread or just a cotton thread, it still binds. Tamas, Rajas or Sattva, sab bandhte hai. So this was Sattva, but it was still binding him. So it changed his, if I can use the word, it changed his identity. Originally, he was a seeker for the truth. He was completely engrossed in worshipping Bhagwan. But he became like a father to the deer. So he's not a seeker of the truth anymore. So these thoughts in him bound him to the realm of the material world. The deer represents the material world. So his mind now is bound to the material world. So these thoughts occupied his mind exclusively, thoughts of the deer. And in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan advises us to think of him. Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samad bhavam yati nas yatra sanshaya. That at the last moment, those who think of me, they will not return into this material world. So he is now attached to the material world, but to be free from it, just like you and I are all attached to the material world. So before I could come today, I had to make sure I choose the right kind of outfit. I'm attached to the material world. Isn't that so? So we mustn't think that, oh, we are beyond that. We are actually fully immersed in it. And these kathas are meant to take us out of that situation. So Bhagwan says, think of him. But thinking of Bhagwan breaks that tie, that binding string that keeps us into the material world. So he was born as a deer because of that. Because at the time of death, he thought of the deer. Right? So, see, if during the course of the day, and you'll find this especially among children, if the whole day they are engaged in playing marbles, or these days they don't play marbles, or they play games on the console. Okay, let's just assume he was playing marbles or playing football. And that occupied his mind the whole time. When he's in a higher state of sleep, that's what he dreams about. That means the subconscious mind has stored that information that he was involved in the conscious state. And when we pass away, the mind and intelligence, subtle mind and intelligence, leaves the body and follows us into the next life. So this impression was made on the mind. How was the impression made? Because that was the main activity that he was involved in, taking care of the deer. And so he was born as a deer. But good things in his mind, and they also accompanied his mind into the next birth. And therefore, in the body of a deer, he remembered his past life, the error of his, repented, if you that word, right? He left his mother deer. There, he led an absolutely simple life, eating dry leaves, etc., not worrying about fresh grass and that. He led a very, very simple life until death overtook him. So there are many intelligent animals. We may not be able to recognize that intelligence. I know growing up in Clearwood as little children, first mine on a Tuesday, and there was a dog. Every Tuesday, veranda outside until we finished. It only came on a evening, and it the duration of that katha. You think that animal is fully? We didn't be there. He was more intelligent than us. Isn't that so? So don't that animals are recently we involved in some wildlife program and they discover because our form looks different, we are head and shoulders above everybody else. So after death in the body of a deer now, he lived a very strict life and he passed away. He was born in the illustrious family of in the dynasty of Angira Rishi. We spoke about Angira Rishi on Tuesday, I think. Isn't that so? Brahmaji associated with. So, and his father, tolerant, he was charitable, komal, tender and gentle. और शास्त्रों में विद्वान, automatically regains in that birth the spiritual insight of his previous life. So Bharat was therefore aware of what caused his downfall. the downfall of kusang, the downfall of attachment to possessions. So when we say attachment to possessions, we are not only talking about inanimate objects. Sometimes we are so possessive of husband, of wife, of children as well. None of that belongs to us. All these relationships are meant to help both parties in that relationship to grow and evolve and learn. That is why we are given certain relationships. So if my wife does not cook well, if, I'm just emphasizing if, okay, then that's what I deserve. That means Bhagwan says, in the previous life, you had nice food, you was wasting it. She'll put you right. So he matched us, okay? If in my previous life, I gave my father a hard time, in this life, I'll have a child who will give me a hard time. That will come, that match will be made. So this is something that we should know. So he understood this possession was his downfall. And therefore he lived his life showing, exhibiting features that he was jada, andha, or badhir. He was dull, deaf, and blind. It wasn't physically dull and deaf and blind, but that's the impression that was created, right? So this means that he did not engage in the world, with the world, in the normal way. He kept himself free from possessions and attachment, always thinking of Sri Hari. And to everybody around him, it seemed that he was a fool or an insane person. He didn't worry about the kind of clothes, like how I said I must wear this and come today. So if his shirt was torn, that wasn't important to him. If there was dust on his face, that wasn't important to him. In all those situations, he was still focusing on Bhagwan. So it seemed to people that he's a fool, he's mad, okay? And there was, when we were growing up in Claywood, there was a man whom we used to all laugh at. I think Lokesh might remember, his name was Arunachal, okay? And he used to walk around like a madman. And one day my father said, don't think he's a madman. He may be wiser than all of us. And this katha probably gave my father that message to deliver to us, right? So what did Bharat's father do? As a father, loving father, he tried to teach Bharat the ways of life according to what the father thought was right. He taught him the Gayatri mantra. Every day he used to teach him the Gayatri mantra, Savitri, right? And it says here, Greshma Vasantikan. After 4 months, he still did not learn it. Not that he couldn't learn it, but he did not learn it. He deliberately did not learn it. Why? He was afraid. If I learn this one mantra, he'll teach me another one. And if I learn that one, he'll teach me Karam Kand, go to people's houses and do puja. Then they'll give me Dan Dakshina. I will receive Dan Dakshina. And I'm stuck in the same cycle of material wealth, attachment to possessions, right? But the father, as is the responsibility of good fathers, he continued with his efforts, teaching him about brahmacharya, student life, how you must live your life. There are lots of disciplines that we need to follow, about cleanliness, about yajna and havan, but Bharat did not learn. So we spoke about this earlier. Whose responsibility is it to teach the children? It is the parents' responsibility. Teach them about values and ethics, about cleanliness, all of that. Don't leave it to the schools and the teachers. because many of them may not understand what we need to teach. And we should ask ourselves, if we don't teach it, then will they go to Google Guru and learn, or University of Facebook? But how can we teach if we don't know? So we must learn ourselves about Sanatana Dharma. And if we don't know, we must ask those who can help us. Approach those who know. Attend kathas like this. Inquire from authoritative bodies like the Mahasabha or Sanatana Dharma Sabha, and who have teams of knowledgeable people who advise. So you don't even have to go to the Mahasabha offices to ask any question. They have all of these platforms you can engage on the internet and all of that, and ask questions, and they will respond. So after some time, although he was taught so much, he learned nothing. His father passed away, and Bharat continued living with his brothers. They considered him to be dull, and that's why he got the word Jad Bharat. Jad means dull, right? And they made him work in the fields, and in return, they gave him a little bit of food. लेकिन वो उस काम में अच्छा नहीं था. He was not good at his work. He was not good at the work, and he used to dig deep holes instead of plowing. Right? He used to spread dirt where the crops were growing. He did not take care of the crops. When birds were devouring all the crops, he allowed them. He didn't interfere. He wasn't a BEE appointment. So what did they give him in return? They gave him food of a very poor quality. So kan means broken rice. Or kulmash is worm-eaten grains. Or sthali parisha adini. Sthali parisha adini. Food that was stuck to the bottom of the pot because it was burnt. That's the kind of food they gave him. Would it be right for us to give such food to anyone, even to our servants or to beggars? Would it be right? It won't. But he accepted it gladly and without complaint. Sama dukkha sukha dhira somritatvaya kalpate. In other words, he responded to sukh and dukh in a balanced manner. That's what Bhagavad Gita says, and he is following that. He was not agitated. Neither was he overjoyed. He just accepted it. Okay? He wasn't affected by the material world. Compare this to his relationship with the deer now. So there is evolution. He's growing, isn't that so? Why was he not affected by the material world? Because he was now completely immersed in bhakti to Bhagwan. He also accepted that whatever comes his way is through Bhagwan's will and due to his own karma, his own actions. So I mentioned just now, whatever relationships we have is the relationships that we deserve by our past actions and by what we need to learn. So karma dictates all this. Koi koi khaye ghee ke ladwa, koi koi khaye makai ki sadwa, koi khate mar jala, ye sab karm ki batiya. So some people will have lovely, luxurious food like laddu. Others will eat the cob of the mealies, and others will die while eating. All of that is according to our past karma. Some of us are still dying while eating. Eh? Look at the cholesterol and all that we got. So once a family that was desirous of having a son. So they wanted to do a sacrifice. Purush Pashum. What did they want to sacrifice? An animal in the form of a man. Human sacrifice. To who? To Bhadrakali. So this type of worship that is asking for specific benefits, personal benefits, while hurting others, is not liked by Bhagwan. In Kapil Bhagwan's discourse to Devahuti, we discussed this, isn't that so? Where he taught the 4 types of bhaktas. Towards the end of my discussion on Tuesday, he said there's tamasic, rajasic, sattvic, and nirgun. This is the lowest form, tamasic. He doesn't like it. He told Devahuti, it's causing harm to others. So I don't like that. Right? So killing of another being, a man or animal or bird, is looked down upon by Bhagwan Sri Hari himself. He doesn't approve of it. And these people wanted to do it to get children. How is killing one life justified to get another life? They didn't hear, this family hadn't heard, that Raja Dashrath did the Putyeshri Yagya without killing any animals. And he had 4 sons of the greatness like Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna. No animal killing was involved. No human killing was involved. In the Brahma Vaivarta Puran, in the Ganapati Kand, there are 2 or 3 chapters, I think, on the Punyaka Vrat. So the Punyaka Vrat was explained to Parvati Mata so that she can engage in that Vrat and get a son. Who explained it to her? Bhagwan Narayan explained. If you can get some time, read those 2 or 3 chapters in the Brahma Vaivarta Puran. So at the end of that yagya, Bhagwan Krishna, according to Brahma Vaivarta Puran, came as the son of Parvati in the form of Ganesha. Read that. If it's new to you, read it. It's very interesting, right? So there is also a mantra which we've been reciting quite a few days here. Devaki Sutta Govinda Vasudeva Jagatpate Dehi Me Tanayam Krishna Tvam Aham Sharanagatam. O son of Devaki, O Govinda, O Vasudeva, Lord of the universe, I surrender to you. Please bless me with a child. They didn't hear of that mantra either. And we know that worshipping Shivji regularly with various sattvic offerings, havan, etc., is also beneficial. I know of people sitting here in this audience who engaged in such puja for many years and are still continuing, although they now have children. And they were blessed with children, I'm talking about many, many years ago, right? So no harm to other creatures, and they can still get children. There is no himsa involved. It does not go against Bhagwan Sri Krishna's teachings in Bhagavad Gita. Ahimsa satyama krodhas tyaga shanti rapeshunam daya bhuleshwa daya bhutyeshwa loluptvam mardavam hrir achapalam. So these are the qualities that Bhagwan wants us to develop. Ahimsa and daya are divine qualities, while violence and an absence of compassion is considered demonic in nature. So protecting cows is an essential part of Sanatan Dharma. Go Raksha. We hear a lot of Go Raksha. A few weeks ago, we went to Thornville and we did Go Puja, etc. Those are all very good things. क्यों केवल गाय रक्षा, क्यों केवल गौ रक्षा? बकरी रक्षा को क्या होगा? हाथी को रक्षा नहीं करेगा? आर वी नॉट गोइंग टू प्रोटेक्ट द एलिफेंट्स? मुर्गा को रक्षा नहीं करेगा? सभी प्राणियों की रक्षा होनी चाहिए. आई एम नॉट सेइंग it is unimportant to protect cows. I'm saying it is absolutely important. But it is just as important to protect all other creatures. So what did this family do? They sent some hoodlums, some armed robbers, to go and find somebody who is dull and bring him to be sacrificed. And they found Bharat one night sitting in the forest on an elevated spot. He raised some, made it nice and high so that he can be protected from the wild animals. And they found him there. They grabbed hold of him and took him back. And even though they wanted to engage in killing, they said, no, let's first bathe him and prepare him for sacrifice. Okay? Then they took him in front of the deity of Bhadrakali. It was on a nice bedi. And one of them picked up a sword, ready to kill Jad Bharat. Who was this Jad Bharat? A great bhakt of Bhagwan. He was friendly to all beings. Sarva Bhuta Suhrida. Sarva Bhuta Suhrida. Friendly to all. And Ajata Shastru. He had no enemies. He was always engaged in meditation on Bhagwan. And Devi Bhadrakali was not happy at all. She was in this murti, placed on this elevated bedi, if you want to call it an altar, and the murti burst open, Uchchata, to reveal the frightening form of Bhadrakali, with a burning kind of body. It was so bright that it was burning. Danhaya manena vapusha. Vapusha is with form. So she took on a form. And what is the description of Bhadrakali that we know of? Khadgan chakra gadeshu chap parighan chulambushundim shirah shankham sandadatim kare srinayanam sarvanga bhushavritam नीलाश्मद्युतिमास्य पाददशकां सेवे महाकालिकां याम स्वपिते हरो कमलजौ हन्तुं मधुं कैटभम्. So she has in her hand the sword, the chakra, the gada, arrow, bow, an iron club, a trishul, a sling, and a shankar. And all of these were to destroy the asuras, to destroy the bad habits, all for the benefit of bhaktas. So I'm going to recite a part of a stuti that Brahma and Vishnu sang in the Devi Bhagwat to Kali, Bhadrakali. It says, Namami Tvam Vishwakartri Pareshim Nityam Madhyam Satya Vijnana Rupam Vachati Nam Nirgunam Chati Sukshmam Jnanati Titam Shuddha Vijnana Gamyam Purnam Shuddham Vishwarupam Surupam Devi Vandya Vishwavandyam Api Tvam Sarvantas उत्तामस्थान संस्था मीडे कालिम विश्व संपालयित्रीम. So in this stuti, Devi Kali or Bhadrakali is revered as Adi Shakti, who is beyond description in words. who is formless and subtle. She is perfection complete. She is purity and worthy of praise by the entire creation. And she is the nurturer of all. Can you imagine a mother who is a nurturer of all is being offered a human sacrifice? Which mother, a nurturing mother, will accept that? So this stuti that we sang just now is such an appropriate way of worshipping Bhadrakali. We can read chalisas about her. We can make offerings of flowers, fruit, sweet food, and sing her chalisas. These are so pleasant and appropriate ways of worshipping Devi Kali. So without much more, I'm going to ask Jay Bhai to see if he can give us a bhajan relating to Maya Mata.
हम तेरी शरण में रक्षा करो भद्रकाली हम तेरी शरण में रक्षा करो भद्रकाली हम तेरी शरण में तेरी शरण में तेरी शरण में तेरी शरण में रक्षा
बोलो जग जननी भद्रकाली माता की जय। श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। I think I cannot proceed until I congratulate Jai Bhai on what an appropriate bhajan, in which he says, the bhajan says, we must offer adornments to Bhadrakali, like mehendi and kajal, and we must offer flowers to Bhadrakali, and also pan, betel leaf. So, very nice choice and very well sung, Bhaji. So, Devi Kali was enraged. Why? She could not tolerate this violence, especially directed to a devotee. तो वो वेदी से कूद गई. शी जम्प्ड आउट ऑफ द मूर्ति, आउट ऑफ द वेदी, और उनके सिर काट दिया. शी कट ऑफ द हेड्स ऑफ द पीपल हु वर वांटिंग टू सैक्रिफाइस जड़ भरत. भगवान ऑलवेज टेक्स केयर ऑफ हिज डिवोटी. And Bhagwan can come in any form to protect his devotees. So a person gets delayed to go somewhere, and later on he realizes, I missed an accident by 2 minutes. What is that? Bhagwan has come in what form? In the form of delayed time. Here he comes as Bhadrakali. In another katha, if you read, Narsingh Bhagwan protected Bhakt Prahalad, isn't that so? And Sri Krishna also protected the cowherd community against Kalia, we heard the other night. So we see, if you want to use this expression, we see this cooperation between the divinities, between the different forms of the divinities, between the different forms of Bhagwan in protecting devotees, bhakt ko bachane ke liye. Here, Bhadrakali protects a Narayan Bhakt. Bhadrakali generally is associated with Shivji. She protects a Narayan Bhakt. In Durga Saptashati, we also come across this verse which shows the role of the divine, of Devi Mata, in the protecting protection of Bhakta Prahlad. Nrisingh Rupenogrena Hantum Daityan Kritodyame Trailokya Tran Sahite Narayani Namostute. It says, O Narayani, who is the terrible form of Narsingha, who in the terrible form of Narsingh is engaged in killing the Asuras and giving constant protection to the three worlds. So Bhagwan, as I said earlier, takes on any form. भक्तों की रक्षा के लिए किसी भी रूप में आ सकते हैं, जो चाहे और जो आवश्यक है उसी रूप में. Whatever he wishes, whichever form he wishes to take, and more importantly, whichever form is most appropriate for the circumstances. So Devi Kali and Devi Durga are responsible for cutting off the heads of asuras and terminating asuric behavior. And she is especially protective of devotees. So, continuing, those of us who understand and know that the Atma is separate from the body, those who are always being of benefit to other beings, both human and otherwise, those who never consider harming any being, such devotees are protected by Bhagwan as supreme time. Sudarshan Chakra of Sri Vishnu represents supreme time. So such bhaktas, such devotees, they remain unperturbed and calm even in the most stressful and threatening situations. And Jad Bharat had no fear at all, even though they had raised the sword above his head. Because he felt, Hamari Sat Shri Raghunath to kis baat ke chinta. Why must we worry when we have God with us? So that is how Jar Bharat was protected. But we need to understand this, that it wasn't just Jar Bharat who was protected. It was Bhakti that was protected. It was a clear signal of the type of behavior that Bhagwan does not like. Right? So later on in his life, Jad Bharat continued living as he was, in the form of deaf and dumb, and Jad behaving like that. So one day a king by the name of Rahugan, a king by the name of Rahugan, wanted to travel to Kapil Ashram. You know, we spoke about Kapil Dev the other night, Kapil Muni. And he, as kings normally do, they will travel in a palanquin, in a palki. And it requires 4 people to carry it. Okay, so all those people who are going up Kedarnath on a palki, don't consider yourself to be king now. That's different. So here, this king, he had everything. So he says, no, I will travel in a palki. Maybe you can refer to that as the Ferrari of those days. Right? But they were short-staffed. You need 4 people to carry it. They were short-staffed. Okay, so they had to look for a quick, what kind of employment do you call that? Toko, yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, so short-term employment, temporary employment, right? So they forced Jad Bharat, they found him and they forced him to carry that palanquin. Even though he was not fit for that kind of work. He was young and strong, yes, but he was not fit for that kind of work. जड़ भरत में भक्त और साधु का गुण थे. In him, there was only this qualities of a sadhu and a bhakt. So, but because it was the king's instructions, he obeyed. And he carried the palki. However, he did not walk in sync with the other three carriers because he is not used to this kind of work. And he kept looking at the ground when walking. Every step he took, he looked at the ground, then he took the next step, looked again, then he took the next step. And those fellows are walking at a regular pace. So he was actually avoiding the ants on the ground. That is the quality of a bhakt. Did we read of a sadhu we read on Tuesday? Right? He will cause harm to nobody. So he is looking at the ground. If there were no ants, then he moved. If there were ants, then he suddenly swerved. Right? So he was looking at the ground all the time. The word for dharti, another word for dharti is bhumi. Right? And in certain dialects, they call it bhuya. Have you heard of the word bhuya? Bhuya is one way of saying bhumi. So there's a nice song I heard when I was a little child. कोई चले हाथी घोड़ा जलसा लगाए के, कोई चले हाथी घोड़ा जलसा लगाए के, साधु चले भुइया भुइया चूटी बचाए के, साधु चले भुइया भुइया चूटी बचाए के. So he's avoiding the ants and he's shaking the palanquin. And therefore, it caused a great deal of discomfort to the king. He was very upset. The king was very upset. And all the other carriers, they pointed to Jad Bharat. He's the cause. Don't look at us. He's the cause. Right? So King Rahugan, in anger, he spoke these words. Aho kashtam bhratar vyaktam uru परिश्रांतो दीर्घम अध्वानम एक एव उहीवान सुवीरम नाति पीव न संहन्न नांगो जरसा चोपधृतो अयः पुनः स्वशिविकायां विषम अगतायां प्रकुपित उवाच रहुगणः किमिदम् अरे त्वं जीवन मृत्यो मां कदर्थीकृत्य. So very sarcastically and in anger, he says, my dear brother, imagine a king calling a palanquin carrier a brother. So he says, my dear brother, you seem very exhausted because only you are doing all the work. You are carrying this palanquin alone, poor fellow. And for such a long time you are carrying it. Also, your old age has made you so weak. Aren't the other fellows helping you? Are the other carriers not helping you? So when the king spoke like this, what did it say? Although he is going to Kapil Dev's ashram, his ego is there right up. That's why he's talking so sarcastically to this person. Now bring this into the everyday world. An employee of yours makes a mistake. How do you address that? Of course, modern management will tell you must follow the following steps. If you're not following the modern management style, you'll say, hey, what an idiot you are, etc. Isn't that so? Well, that's what Rahugan said here. He continued, he says, Arey Murk, tum kya kar rahe ho? What are you doing, you fool? Are you dead in spite of having life in your body? Tvam jivan mrito ma kadathikritya. Jivan mrito. You have life, but you are dead. Right? And he says, for disobeying me, मैं तुम्हें सजा दूंगा. I'm going to give you punishment. But before we come to the punishment, perhaps Jai Bhai again can keep us excited with a lovely bhajan.
प्रेम प्रभु का बरस रहा है, पीले अमृत प्यार से, सातों तीरथ तेरे बाहर किसे तलाश, कन कन में हरि, शन शन में हरि, मुस्कानों में तस्वन में हरि, मन की आंखें तूने खोली तो ही दर्शन पाएगा, ताने से वो मगर तारा दिखाएगा, ताने से वो मगर तारा दिखाएगा, प्रेम का बरसना पीले
Jai Shri Radha Madhav ki, Jai Shri Narayanaya. So, after all those insults and sarcastic comments, what was Jar Bharat's response? He was ever tolerant and compassionate. Both those qualities belong to a sadhu. And he responded calmly. And in his response, he taught some eternal truths to Rahugan, King Rahugan. And he said to him, whatever you have said so sarcastically is true. You are correct. I am not the carrier. It is the body that is carrying. मैं नहीं उठा रहा हूं, यह शरीर है जो उठाता है. So the load, that means you and the palanquin, is for the body. And I am not the body, I am the Atma. So you are correct. You're talking about load. जो पकड़ लेगा तो बोझ बनता है. If you grab on to something, it becomes a burden. छोड़ देगा तो उड़ जाएगा. If you leave it, you will fly high. So this attachment, पकड़ना नहीं अच्छा है, उसको छोड़ दो. Give it up. If you give it up, you will fly high. You will become light and you can fly. Okay? So he says, I am not this body, I am the Atma. I have not made any effort to carry the palki because मैं शरीर से अलग हूँ. मैं शरीर नहीं हूँ. I am not the body. I am separate from this body. I am detached. I am not strong. I am not young. I am not old. I am not weak. All of that, those descriptions apply to the body. And I am not the body. So then he tells him, you are considering yourself to be the king. And you consider me as a servant. That too is a temporary conception. कल स्थिति बदल सकती है. Tomorrow it can change. If you still think you are permanently the master and I the servant, then order me and I will obey. You consider me mad and yet you want to punish me? If your judgment that I am mad is true, then punishing me will be useless. It will not remove my insanity. Punishing me will not make me less mad. The king then realized how great a Brahman this Jad Bharat was. क्षमा और नम्रता के साथ उनके पैरों पर गिर पड़ा. He fell at the feet of Jad Bharat in complete apology and humility. And he was thirsty for supreme knowledge from Jad Bharat because he realized that although he looks like a fool, although he looks like he is mad, he is brilliant in what I need to learn. He has supreme knowledge. So he asked Jar Bharat to guide him. And Bharat then taught King Rahugan about various spiritual matters. So all the recitals that we've done so far, and much more that you are going to hear and we will read in the future, I'm going to conclude, and you'll find a lot of that message in the words that I've copied from a bhajan. किसको ढूंढे जग बंधे, प्रभु तेरा संग है. Who are you looking for? God is with you. नेकी की राह चले तो श्याम हर रंग है. If you walk the path of dharma, then Shyam, Bhagwan, Kanhaiya is with you in every part of your body. डर कैसा फिर जीवन में? Why should there be fear in your life? क्या संसार है? What is this world? जहां प्रेम के दीप जले वही स्वर्ग है. Where the light of love shines, that is heaven. आईना जब देखो तू खुद से नजर मिलाना. When you look in the mirror, meet your eyes, look directly at yourself. In other words, introspect. भीतर कृष्ण बैठा है. Who is sitting inside? Krishna. यह सच पहचाना जाना. You must understand, you must recognize this fact. न दूर गगन में बैठा. He is not sitting far in the sky. न केवल वृंदावन में. Not only in Vrindavan. प्रभु बसते हैं हर धड़कन में. He is in every beat of your heart. हर धड़कन की मधुर तान में. In this beautiful rhythmic beat of your heart. किसको ढूंढे जग बंधे प्रभु तेरा संग है. नेकी की राह चले तो श्याम हर अंग है. धीरे धीरे फल देती है. धीरे धीरे फल देती है कर्मों का ये बीज. The seeds of your karma will slowly mature and give you the results. आज अगर कष्ट है तो कल खिलेगा सुख का नीच. If today there is difficulty, tomorrow it will change. धैर्य की डोली थामे जो. Those who hold on to their patience, they are patient. न छोड़े विश्वास. Who don't give up their belief, they trust in Bhagwan. उसके जीवन में खुद रच दे कन्हैया नई आश. So in that person's life who has patience and who perseveres, Bhagwan himself will give you hope. जब अंतिम सांसें आए नाम प्रभु का गाओ. छोड़ जगत की माया मन सुख कृष्ण में ही समाये. न धन साथ जाएगा न यह सारा संसार. हरि नाम रहेगा बंदे तेरी असली आधार. So at the last moment, take Bhagwan's name. All this wealth, this worldly possessions will not come with you. Only Hari Naam rahega teri asli aadhar. Your real support is Hari Naam. So I think I was a little more disciplined today compared to last Tuesday with time. So in conclusion, we all need to establish a permanent commission of inquiry. A permanent commission of inquiry. Who is the chair of that commission? Sri Krishna and Bhagwat. So in that commission, we must answer questions. We will be interrogated by Bhagwan Sri Krishna and the Bhagwat about our behavior, about our habits, about our thoughts, about our mindset. And it will be compared with what's in the Bhagavad. And remedial steps will be recommended. That means you will get reports regularly. Okay? Because this commission does not end. It will always be running. And every week or so, there'll be a report and asking you to take remedial action. And if you don't, then you must face the consequences. Right? And once you face the consequences, don't complain. I'm so used to wearing a red coat. Now I'm sitting in this prison. You're complaining now. It's uncomfortable. Okay? So when difficulties come, we've earned it. We've earned the bondage. We've earned the prison kind situation because we did not act on the report of the commission. So this Bhagavad commission which we are putting in place must continue after tomorrow. We must say to Bhagwan Sri Krishna, and we must say to Bhagwat, अभी ना जाओ छोड़ कर ये दिल अभी भरा नहीं. So on Monday, continue. Okay? And it means if I can, you'll find ways of engaging with what's in the Bhagavad. You might get together 3 or 4 of you and say, okay, once a month we'll sit and read one katha and talk about it. That is a commission we are talking about. We must engage in all of this. And I'm as all the speakers have said in the presentations, don't let what we've heard here die today. It must be expressed in the way we live our lives, and we must go back each time to compare. Then only we will benefit from this. बोलो श्री मधुसूदन भगवान की जय, श्री राधे कृष्ण भगवान की जय, जय जय श्री नारायणाय, जय श्री राम.
मेरे दर्द में भी राधा, मेरे दर्द में भी राधा, मेरे दर्द में भी राधा, मेरे दर्द में भी ऐसे मुझे भला ऐसे और तेरे भला ऐसे मुझे भला ऐसे दारू में भला परंतु सत्य बनाया तेरे मान Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Shama Shama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Shama, Shama Shama, Hare छोड़ेंगे ना हम तेरा साथ जन्म तक मरते दम नहीं सात जन्म तक मरते दम नहीं मरते दम नहीं जन्म जन्म तक मरते दम नहीं जन्म जन्म तक सात जन्म नहीं जन्म छोड़ेंगे तेरा छोड़ेंगे
Can our Yajmans get ready for Aarti? Thank you so much, Panditji, for such a soulful and inspiring katha. It was filled with knowledge, emotion, and devotion, leaving all of us with so much to reflect upon and cherish. We sincerely appreciate your time, wisdom, and blessings. To Jay Bhai and your bhajan group, sorry for putting you under pressure. If any of you have noticed, we have a small misprint on our program and it says finishing at 6 p.m. None of us did notice that. So we had to make a plan. And I know many of y'all are rushing for Anup Charota as well. So we decided to let y'all go a bit early. We will go into Aarti now.
ऊरे प्रज्वाल्य ज्वालामालिन्यै नमः सकलोपचाराधिगन्धाक्षपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि नमस्करोमि कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसागरं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। मङ्गलं भगवान् विष्णुः मङ्गलं गरुडध्वज मङ्गलं पुण्डरीकाक्ष मङ्गलाय तनोहरे। साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते। पुष्पैः देवतावन्दनमुत्ताभ्यामात्मवन्दनमन्दपुष्पाञ्जलिः। हरि ओम्। यज्ञेन यज्ञमयजन्त देवास्तानि सर्वाणि प्रथमान्यासन्नाते यजन्त यत्र पूर्वे साध्या गन्धदेवा। ॐ राजाधिराजाय प्रसह्य साहिने नमो वयं वै श्रवणाय कुर्महे शमे कामान् कामकामाय मह्यं कामेश्वरो वै श्रवणो ददातु उवेराय वै श्रवणाय महाराजाय नमः। ॐ स्वस्तिसाम्राज्यं भोज्यमश्वाराज्यं वैराज्यं पारमेष्ठं राज्यं महाराज्य माधिपत्यमयमठमन्तपर्याये स्यात् सार्वभौमस्तार्वायुषान्दादापरार्धात् पृथिव्यै समुद्रपर्यन्ताय एकराडिति तदप्येषश्लोकोऽभिगीतो मरुतः परिवेष्टारो मर्तश्चावसन्गः आवीक्षितस्य कामप्रेर विश्वे देवाः सभासदिः श्रीवन्तिकाकुलजं भगवान् जय पुण्यागजादिगरवीरसालपुष्पैः बिल्वप्रभालतुलसीदलमञ्जरीः त्वां पूजयामि जगदेश्वर मे प्रसीद ॐ नानासुगन्धपुष्पाणि यथा कालोद्भवानि च पुष्पाञ्जलिर्मया दत्त गृहाण परमेश्वर चरणकमलेषु मन्त्रपुष्पाञ्जलिं समर्पयामि प्रार्थयेत मे भवाता त्वमेव बन्धो च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव मम देव देवा सकलं वरस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये वसुदेवं श्रुतं देवं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरो देवकी सुत गोविन्द वासुदेव कृष्ण वामहं शरणं गतः मन्त्रहीनं गृहाहीनं भूयां चैव नयाम्ये क्षम्यतां परमेश्वर दुःखं गतं दारिद्र्यमेव सुखसम्पत्ति पुण्योऽहं तव दर्शनं पूर्णमदः पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते बोल श्री गणपति गजा राधे कृष्ण जी महाराज जी महादेव सब भक्तों की भागवत सप्ताह पुराण की जय 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 श्री कृष्ण जय श्री कृष्ण जय श्री कृष्ण जय श्री कृष्ण जय श्री कृष्ण
Radhe Radhe. Okay, he did arrive. Radhe Radhe. Dear devotees, please be seated. While we wait for volunteers in the puja department and the catering department, all of the yajmans to please adjourn to the dining hall for Brahman Bhog and for our purohits to adjourn to the dining hall. And once they are seated, we will ask for the visiting pandits to join them as well. Dear devotees, I think you have all come here the whole week, and Krishna Bhagwan said today y'all can go a little bit early. Y'all can go for Anup Jalota, but please wake up early tomorrow morning and be here at 8:30 in the morning, because that's the time we are starting. Remember, we have parking provided across the road. We also have next door to the mandir. The security guards will open the gate for you, and you can go in and park. A reminder of our blanket drive still happening. If anyone is interested, you can donate. It's 200 Rand per blanket. I'm just thinking whether there's any other messages, Ashley. No other messages for tomorrow. So also just remember to bring your wristbands. If you don't bring your wristbands, then I don't think you're going to be allowed to sit in the Haven because we don't have bookings. We've only got for you guys to provide us with the wristbands and then we will allow you to go to your Haven Kund. So what's going to happen, everyone inside the hall is going to go through the stores and everyone outside will please enter the mandir, the hall, and go out through that doors for prasad.